And now, John Crant, author of Self-Recruiter Changing the Rules, How to Be Your Own Recruiter and Ride the Economic Crisis to Your Next Career Challenge. I'm very pleased to be here at the New York Public Library's Job Search Central as a featured speaker on job search.
How many of you came to the first one? Wow.
Whether it's on job search, which was last week, on resume, which is tonight, next Thursday is on building your professional network with LinkedIn, and specifically how to use it for your job search. And then 2 weeks from yesterday, which is Wednesday the 10th, the last one's going to be on a Wednesday, is interview checklist. This is how to really prepare before your interview and how to follow up after your interview, based on the secrets that recruiters use to make their individual candidate be the standout. So let's go ahead and get started. Tonight is going to be resume renovation. We're going to apply the self-recruiter idea to resumes. It's an individual that takes control of their job search. It's this idea that, first off, I have to build a good network. In my job search, I have to understand it's a competition. And as with any competition, it's not simply how well I do. It's how well I do compared to the people competing against me for that same position. You see a job that you like. It says no phone calls. That must be one of the rules. It says apply online. Don't send individual emails. And we go into this process, and at the end of that process, we have to hit submit. That button is named submit on purpose. The idea is to train you to submit. I want you to not submit. We do have to submit because we have to get our resume into the system, but that's the least of our efforts that we should be doing. So once you hit submit, stop submitting, get out of line, and take control. It's not about making tremendous change that's overwhelming. It's simply about making very small changes at every step that affect the outcome. Sometimes we're going to use that understanding of human nature to our benefit, and other times we're going to use it to shake ourselves up and understand we have to go a different route. We wish it was. We wish we saw that job. We wish it was a single line. We send in our resume and we get that job. If it was only that easy. But we know it's not that easy. We submit, 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 or apply, 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 and they never call us back. Why? Other people are sitting at home doing the same exact thing over and over and over. And all these people are sending in all of their resumes. Tonight is a very important session. I'm going to talk to you about behind the scenes, understanding what happens after you hit that submit button. Why aren't they calling me? What is going on behind that veiled curtain? So we're going to change this equation of diminishing returns that we've been experiencing by changing some of the rules. Those rules must be meant for somebody else, because I understand I'm exceptionally valuable. Each one of you, no matter what your specialty is, has to understand what is my core value. Why am I better than the next 6 people in line for that position? Why is it going to be the best business decision they're going to make that day if they choose to hire you? Let's take the first one. You are a product too. When a company chooses to hire you, they're really buying a product. That product is you. You take that little perfume that everybody recognizes and sees the value, you pour it into a gallon of water. The perfume is still here, but can you find or spot or locate the value? It's now diluted. That's what happens to our resumes over a course of time. So we're going to take you through a few concepts tonight about what to do with your resume, how big your resume should be, what it should look like, in my opinion. All of these sessions, I'm giving you my opinion. I think my opinion is a pretty good one. Let me tell you a little bit more about me, and you can think about it. John Crant, been in the recruiting industry for over a decade now, as industry manager, as executive recruiter, as a recruiting and sales trainer, as a VP of a nationwide system of recruitment offices. I have seen most every aspect of the hiring process from both the internal and the external view, as decision maker, as decision influencer, and as simply the objective observer. That's what brings the clarity that I bring to my discussions like tonight. We have to think like chess, which is not about the next move, but about 6, 8, 10, or 15 moves ahead. And what can I do now to make my life and my job search easier as we move forward? Going after. How you win the day is through chemistry if you're competent for the position. The chemistry only happens if you're able to hit meetings, which are called interviews. So we have to begin to change our approach here. It's very specific, and the formatting happens in such a way where the information that we decide is valuable instantly is absorbed as people scan down your resume. Understanding stacks of resumes. And after submitting to HR and going off into that no man's land that oftentimes happens, they identified the hiring person, put together a nice package for that person, not only electronically reached out to the person, but sent them a physical package. How many people have sent something by snail mail these days? Kudos, kudos, kudos. It has to be a really sharp resume and a cover letter that specifically speaks directly to who you're talking to. You have a real job. Who's in HR? Anybody in HR? Anybody want? You can tell me, I won't hurt you. Not one time I'm going to ever recommend someone have a 2-page resume. You have to then go back to this idea of stacks, back to the competition, this 3 to 5 seconds. If you are more than a page, how am I ever going to absorb your value? What's the least important information on any resume? Do things like expand out the character spacing, which makes it easier to read. Everything is about the last 4 to 7 years. What you have before then may add value, but it's supporting foundational value, not current experience. You know, I talked last week about the situation that happens with layoffs, and we end up feeling guilty. It's human nature. Somehow, we're that bottom 10% because we got caught up in the layoffs. Many different companies take the same function and have 3 or 4 or 10 different titles, as long as you don't cross that line to misrepresent. You have to properly present. Once it's in stack number 1, your cover letter can make a significant difference as to whether you get interviewed. Here's my value pieces. Here's what I can do for your team. And here's how you can kind of leverage all of that experience to make your life easier as a hiring individual. So, you guys ready? Do this with me. 1001, 1002, 1003. That's 3 seconds. That is the literal amount of time I'm talking about. If you have your resume, why don't you pull it out? You have to understand I've got to reduce something and increase something else. Look at Todd here, and first off, Todd has some nice career progression. So right away, if nothing else is on the resume, you have an opinion about Todd's background, about Todd's value. You have to apply this kind of eye to your own resume. Value everywhere, but nowhere to be seen. If there's one single area where candidates lose more value on their resumes, it's in what they write under each employer and title. To be very specific with tangible achievements. Think dollar signs, think percentages. And some of us, that's going to be hard for what we did. You're going to have to spend time and go back and rethink. To me, that is a specific accomplishment and something she's exactly right. I'm going after company A here. It goes back to multiple versions of your resume. What is it that I might need to communicate to them that I have accomplished in my background? What specific things would be of interest to the reader? Takes about 16 years of background and squeezes it into about 3/4 of 1 inch at the very end. Prior employment, boom, boom, boom. 3/4 of 1 inch, because it's no longer applicable, it's been too long, and yet there's a clear accounting. That background also adds nice foundation as to what this person brings to the table. How did I affect revenue? Did I increase revenue? Did I decrease expenses? Did I increase efficiency? Did I decrease inefficiency somehow? Did I streamline a process? Even if I can't quantify it, I can somehow take credit for it by describing it. Streamline process by. Did I affect performance in some way? I have to apply that to every role that I have. Suddenly it comes up headless. No name, maybe I can't even find the contact information. I'm going through a stack of 600 resumes. I find a great resume that's headless. Do you think I go back to my email and search from the keywords to try to find out who this is? Of course not. I have an endless supply of resumes. If this person can't deliver a resume in the proper format that will communicate their value, as you're designing, keep in mind that your goal is to move your brand forward by adding focus to you.
Thank you for joining me for this resume renovation preview. and I hope to see you in one of my upcoming lectures.